Year 3, welcome to your maths lesson this week, this Thursday. So, we're looking at whether a number today is divisible by 2 or by 4. So really drawing down now on that times table knowledge and linking back to your knowledge of those even and odd numbers. Okay, so you've got to remember, if a number is divisible by 2, you can half it. Okay, so for example, let's think of some numbers easily divisible by 2. 20, 10, 24, 44, can easily half that to 22. Okay, sorry, that one was a bit messy. Numbers divisible by 2, you can half them. They're even numbers, but you can easily half into another whole number. Okay, so knowing that, let's divide some numbers by 2. Let's decide whether these numbers are divisible by 2 or not. So, nice easy one to start off with. Let's start off with that number then, 44. Divisible by 2 or not? You should be saying, yes, Miss Palmer, it's divisible by 2. I can half this number, 22. Half of 4 is 2. Half of 4 again is 2, 22. Okay? What about this number? Divisible by 2 or not? Why? You should be saying, of course this isn't divisible by 2. It is an odd number, Miss Palmer. It has the 7. I couldn't possibly half that into another whole number. Okay, so it's not divisible by 2. Right, moving up into the 3-digit numbers then. Let's have a look. So, 254. Is it odd? Is it even? It is even, so we can have a go at halving this number. Now, when the numbers get a bit bigger, the easiest way to do this is to think about partitioning it. So let's partition into hundreds, tens and ones. So we have 200, 50 and 4, and we can half all of those, put them back together and get our final number. So half of 200 is of course 100, half of 50 is 25 and half of 4 is 2. 125 add the 2 is 127. Is 254 divisible by 2? Yes. Okay, your turn. Just to recap, I partitioned this number, halved it all, put it all back together, and I found that was the easiest, most efficient way of doing it. Your turn. Can you, or ultimately, is 182 divisible by 2? Is it divisible by 2? Yes, of course it is. It is an even number. Your turn to pause the video, partition this number, half it, put the number back together and tell me what half of 182 is, or if you divide it by 2, what is the answer? Okay, pause the video, have a go now. Okay, we all set? Right, so the easiest way to do it was to partition into hundreds, tens and ones. Now we can easily half it. So half of 100 is 50. Half of 80 is 40. Half of 2 is 1. Add them all together. 5 tens add 4 tens is 9 tens. Add the 1, 91. It is divisible by 2. Okay? Last one, just to check you're all awake. This number, divisible by 2. Is it? No. Why not? Because it is an odd number, of course. Not divisible by 2. Okay, so by now we should be confident with these numbers. Are they divisible by 2? Can we half them? Now, I'm going to ask you now whether a number is divisible by 4. Now, the way to tell if you can divide a number by 4, if it is in the 4 times tables, is if you half it, it gives an even number. Now, let's just remind ourselves, dividing by 4. We've been working a lot with our 4 and 8s this week. So let's have a look at 20. Is 20 in the 4 times table? To divide by 4, you can divide by 2 or half it, and then half it again to get divided by 4. So half it and half it again. Halving it once is 10. Halving it twice is 5. Okay, let's just recap that rule with a couple of numbers before we then look at some 3-digit numbers. So to divide by 4, you simply half and half again. Okay, let's have a look at this number. Okay, your turn. Divide, half it and half it again. Okay, not an easy one this. Actually, do you know what? We're not going to start with 62, we're going to start with 84. Okay, half it again, and tell me what's the answer. 84 divided by 4 is... Pause the video now, have a go. Okay, so let's half it and half it again. Dividing it by 2 or halving it would of course give us 42, and then halving it again would give us 21. Okay, remember, half it and half it again divides by 4. Last one on this. Let's go back to that number I just gave you. 68. Divide it by 2 and then divide it by 4. Pause the video, off you go. Okay, all set? Right, dividing it by 2. 6 tens divided by 2 is 3 tens. 8 tens divided by 2 is 4. 8 ones, sorry, divided by 2 is 4. Now, to half it again, we have to think about this digit here. 3 represents 3 tens, which is 30. 30 divided by 2, or halving it, is 15. And then half of 4 is 2. Add them together, 17. Okay, this number is divisible by 4 because you can half it and half it again. And there we go. Okay, now I'm going to tell you a little tip. This is going to be really useful with your maths today, so listen carefully. A number is divisible by 4 if, when you half it, it gets an even number. So, looking at this one, when we halved it, we got 34. We know 68 is divisible by 4 because 34 is an even number, and we can half it again to get our answer, okay? But today is not about necessarily getting the answer, it's about deciding whether these numbers I give you are divisible by 4 or not. I'm going to say that rule once more. If a number is divisible by 4, then when you half it, it is an even number. So remember, our even numbers end in 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, it is an even number. So let's have a look. I'm going to give you some numbers now, and I want you to tell me, are they divisible by 4? 46. Is it divisible by 4? Using the rule I just told you, can you half it and get an even number? Let's see. Halving it gets us 23. Is that an even number? No. So it is not in the 4 times table. It is not divisible by 4. Okay? Let's have another look. Let's go for 420. Let's half it, see if it's even, and see then if it's divisible by 4. Half of it is, of course, 210. Is this an even number? Yes, it is, so it must be divisible by 4. It's important to note at this point that this, we haven't divided it by 4, we've only divided it by 2, but this will tell us whether it's divisible by 4 or not. If we wanted to divide it by 2, we would half it again. and that will give us 105. 420 divided by 4 is 105, okay? Right, I'm going to give you two numbers now, and you're going to decide whether or not they're divisible by 4. So the first one, 96. Pause the video, half it, and tell me if it's an even number or not, and what does that mean for whether it's divisible by 4. Okay, are you all set? Okay, so when you half this number, half of 90, I found it easier to partition. So half of 90 is 45, half of 6 is 3, add them together, 45, 46, 47, 48. Is 48 an even number? Yes, it is. Is it divisible by 4? Yes, it is. Okay, well done. Moving on to the final one. Whew. You tell me whether this is divisible by 4 or not. Pause the video, off you go. Okay, let's go through it. I'm going to partition it into hundreds, tens and ones. Half of 200, 250, add the 40. 250 add 40 is 290. Is it an even number? Yes, it is. Is it divisible by 4? Of course. Okay, there we are. So in today's task you have a divisible by 2 task, a divisible by 4 task, and then you have some further tricky problems to test your knowledge of whether numbers are divisible by 4 and even 8. Okay, good luck, can't wait to see how you get on, and do let me know how you're feeling about your maths on the traffic light system, okay?